Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing their badassery. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is seller lead sheet. This is an important tool to take with you every time you visit a property in hopes of getting it under contract. It keeps you organized and increases your professionalism and credibility to the seller. I typed up several questions, printed them out, and I keep a handful of them in my car on a clipboard. So some of the standard questions include how many bedrooms and baths, square footage, how long they've lived there, age of appliances, mechanicals, roof, etc. My favorite question to ask the homeowner is if they had an unlimited budget, what would they like to do to the house? This is where you find out about that leaky tub faucet or that window in the den that doesn't open. To build rapport, find out why they're selling. If it's a financial situation, you may want to ask if they are current on their payments, and if not, would they be willing to discuss some options to possibly save their credit? This is where you could offer a subject to transaction and save their home before it goes to auction. If they are moving to be closer to a sick family member, time may be of the essence, and you will know to offer a quick close. Maybe they are tired landlords and they just don't have the time or money to deal with those costly repairs. The last and most important question is to find out what they want for their property. Ask them how they got that number and if that number is flexible. This will give you a better idea on what your next step will be. Maybe they just want their mortgage paid off because they have to move for a job starting across the country in 2 weeks. Maybe they want retail and you can refer them to a realtor and still earn a portion of the commission. Sometimes they just pull the Zestimate and you can guide them to a more reasonable number. So take some time and create a seller lead sheet so you will be better equipped to get your next deal. Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. We have with us Austin Rutherford. Austin was born in Columbus, Ohio in 1993. Oh my God, I'm so old. I was in my second year of college. During his school days, he became a hustler and worked his ass off to make money any way he could. Cutting grass or shoveling snow, he knew early on the entrepreneur life was for him. Not too long after high school, he had saved $25,000 and bought a $225,000 duplex before his 21st birthday. It didn't take Austin long to realize the best way to make money is to get involved in the real estate business. At the time of us recording this, Austin just celebrated his 28th birthday and is already a multi-millionaire. So welcome to the show, Austin Rutherford.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on. I'm excited for this.
You know, I'm looking at you on the screen, and clearly this is just audio, but you have a new background behind you. So you grew up in Columbus and have lived there the entire time?
Lived in Phoenix for 9 months, but besides that, Ohio my whole life. Yep.
And so where are you now?
Just moved to Fort Lauderdale 2 weeks ago. So got views of the ocean, which has always been a dream of mine.
Well, I spent 30 plus years in Broward County where you are. So welcome to my old stomping grounds. Just don't bring up my name. And I gave you a couple tips. I said, what do you call the canal?
I said the intercoastal.
And it's really called?
The intracoastal.
Intracoastal. Very good. I'm proud of you. All right. So I know you wrote a book and you talk about how you went from being a valet to becoming a millionaire. So tell us a little bit about this book.
Yeah, it's just kind of my story from starting out and just being broke, it's trying to hustle and get money through being a valet to becoming a millionaire. And it's the things that people really don't teach you. The subtitle to the book is the 10 things they, quote unquote, don't teach you to become rich. They are those people like maybe your teachers or maybe your friends or maybe your parents or maybe the people in church or whoever it is that doesn't think big enough and isn't trying to hold you back from, not trying to, they don't want you to succeed. It's because they don't know any better. So nobody told them. It's kind of the process that I had to go through, the mindset shifts that I had to change to become a millionaire. Because one thing that I've learned over the years is money will never come to you until you become that person first. So you have to become a multi-millionaire before you ever will actually become a multi-millionaire. So it's just kind of the steps to get there.
I want to hear some of these. Can you share some of these 10 things that they don't tell you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, basically it's like getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. A lot of times people are like, when you don't feel good or whatever, they're like, oh, it's okay. Like, stay at home or don't go to practice. Like, no, when you're uncomfortable is when you're growing. Doing the work. People always ask like, hey, what's the secret of success? The secret's just do the freaking work. Taking the leap of faith. I believe everybody kind of comes to that point where they're ready to jump. And sometimes people just need a little push on the back. So actually taking that leap of faith to go out there and go after what you want. The grind and disappointment, people think it's a get rich overnight. It's not. There's going to be a lot of disappointment along the way, and you got to get through that. Staying in your own lane, especially at the beginning. People have shiny object syndrome and they try to start 20 things all at once and they're never super successful at any of them. Get successful at one thing and then start going into other lanes. Be careful of the people who you surround yourself with. This is probably one of the most important ones, the power of your circle. There's a saying out there, like, if you show me your 5 friends, I'll show you your future. The power of affirmations. So speaking things into existence, that's how I built my confidence. I think confidence is one of the next highest things up there. And it's through affirmations. I was never confident. I was never on video. I was never took pictures. Speaking those things into existence. Only worry about the things that you can control. Most of the things in life are things you cannot control, but people spend 90% of their energy, time, and efforts on things you cannot control. And then the abundance mentality, having true abundance and not trying to cut other people down on the way up because there's plenty to go around for everybody. So, those are the 10 points that I had to go through to change my life.
So true and so well said. And what is the name of the book again?
From Valet to Millionaire. It's on Amazon.
Amazon. Excellent. And I know you and I had the same educational backgrounds, meaning that we started in the same place. You have gone a lot further. I wish I would have done it starting at your age, but we both started with a mastery program called Fortune Builders. Yep. And I heard a story about you one time where you were crying under your parents' dining room table. What is that all about? So I bought a house when I was 20 and then I was broke and I was like, all right, I got to figure out how to make more money to buy more rental properties. So I got introduced. I heard on the radio show, it was like, hey, if you want to learn how to flip houses, like come to this 3-hour, meetup. So I was like, yep, I'm there. So I went to the 3-hour thing and then they're like, hey, for $200, come to this 3-day meetup. So I was like, yep, I'm there. And then day 2, they're like, it's great information, by the way. Like it's actual stuff that you can take away and learn from. But like, they dangled the carrot out there again. They're like, hey, day 2, here's all the info. Go out there and do it yourself. Or, you can join our mastermind and here's the million things that we give you to help you succeed. Coaching programs, walkthroughs of houses, et cetera, et cetera. And they build it up like, oh, like that's the golden ticket. The catch is you got to have the money on day 3, right? And it was, at the time for me, it was $25,000. And I just bought my house, which I put all my money into. So I had like a few grand to my name. Something just felt right. Like it felt like that was my moment. There's a saying out there. It's like, luck meets preparation. Right. And I just felt like that was the time for me. So I was broke. So I went home and I don't recommend doing this, but I went to AmericanExpress.com, said I made $100,000 a year, had an 800 credit score. They gave me
gave me like a $15,000 credit card on the spot. So I had to write down the number because I didn't have the physical card on me. So I had like half of the money, right there, but I didn't have the other half. So I talked to my mom, my dad, my aunt, my grandma, my uncle, and asked for the money to front me until I made money and I could pay him back. And, we got the same old things, the they things. Well, it's probably too good to be true. You can't just get rich overnight. If it was that easy, everybody would do it, et cetera, et cetera. And again, they were not trying to hold me back. Like, my family is one of the most supportive, families ever. They just didn't know. Right. So that night, at the time, I was still living with my family. I was 20 years old still. And I just felt like opportunity of a lifetime was like walking out the door. So it was 2 a.m. I was up all night trying to figure out how to come up with this money. And I legitimately crawled under my parents' dining room table and started crying. And it wasn't crying, it was bawling, because it woke my parents up, 2 stories up. And they heard me, came down, and they're like, what's going on? And I was like, I feel like this is it. Like, I'm missing the opportunity. And, they've seen me, grind my whole life, cut grass when I was 16, shovel driveways, make Buckeye necklaces, save 25 grand, buy a house at 20. So like, they knew I was about it. And for whatever reason, they're like, all right, so this is it. So they ended up fronting me the other half of the money to invest into the mentorship. Swiped my credit card the next day. Thought I was going to get rich overnight. It didn't really quite work out like that, but got into the game. That's kind of how it started.
Goodness, and $25,000 is a deal because we paid $35,000 when we went through it. So that is a deal. So tell me about your first flip. You made a shit ton of money on this first flip, but you didn't do anything with that money. You're still valeting at the time. So tell us about that experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like, from the day I bought into that mentorship to the day I actually made money flipping houses was a 16-month process.
Wow.
So it was a journey. It was a struggle. I was valeting 50 to 60 hours a week. I was going to college because I promised my mother I'd get my degree at the time. I was taking 15 credit hours. So like, I was going full time, and I was a realtor, and I was starting my real estate investment business. So, people that have this excuse of, well, I don't have enough time. Like, I went from 6 a.m. until 2 a.m. in the morning for 16 months straight. So, time's an excuse. But luckily, 10 months into that process, I got a call from a seller. I was sending out direct mail to them. It was the 5th letter that I sent them. And they called me back. They inherited the property. There were like 12 people that had to sign the contract for it to be a binding contract. Got them to sign it, did an inspection, got a price renegotiation based on the foundation. It was a $74,000 purchase and a $170,000 rehab. Massive rehab, one of the biggest ones I've ever done to date. So I needed to raise $250,000. And I didn't have $250,000. Like, there was no chance I had that money. So I had 2 options. I could wholesale it, make 10, 20, 30, 40 grand, or I could find a way to buy it and renovate it and flip it and make some money. So I met a lady like a year before at a real estate meetup, just networking, talking with people. She was like, yeah, I just rolled over my IRA to self-directed IRA. I'm going to flip houses myself, and I'm going to fund them myself. And I was like, great, good luck. Let's exchange contact. If you need anything, let me know, blah, blah, blah. So a year later, I got this property. I was like, let me give her a call. Hey, how's it going? How's business? Well, I haven't really started yet. Well, perfect. I got this deal. Do you want to lend me the money? And she decided to lend me the money at 12% and 2 points. So I was able to raise $250,000 at the age of 21 years old. Again, age is not an excuse.
Right.
I'm too young to raise money, whatever you want to tell yourself. It's all lies. Then I bought it. I put $170,000 into it. I put $25,000 into the foundation. I put a 600 square foot addition on, new sewer lines, new drain lines, electric, plumbing, HVAC, like everything. And listed it. 8 hours in, we had 13 offers.
Wow.
And closed 16 months into the game. And it made $107,000 net profit a week after my 22nd birthday. So, at 22, you pop off 100K, like, there's a lot of celebration and stuff that has to happen. But
this is a huge lesson, listeners. So listen what he does next.
For sure. Like, it's time to go to Miami. It's time to take a cruise, like whatever, right? I kid you not, when I tell you that I did not spend a single penny of that money on myself, because I knew that one deal, one paycheck was not going to change my life. 100 grand is not going to last me for the next 60 years. So I went back to valeting cars. I went back to going to college, taking 15 credit hours. I had 6 figures in my bank account. And I didn't buy a pair of sneakers. I didn't go out to dinner. I paid off my debt, paid off my parents, put all the money back into marketing, into the business, and just continued to grow from there. I was making multiple 6 figures a year, driving like a '02 Toyota Camry. I could have bought any car that I wanted, but again, I had bigger goals than that. What's the word? Delayed gratification is huge in this business, in any business.
But it's so important to, you need money to make money. And how smart of a youngin' like yourself to know to just simply reinvest that back into your business. That is phenomenal. And I'm 20 years older than you. Oh my God. It pains me to say that. I'm 20 years older than you, and it took me so long to learn that. So very smart and just impressive. Now, you recently had a mastermind in Dominican Republic, and I saw just a quick blurb of it on Instagram, and I'm like, I need a vacation so bad. It was, what month was that?
I think it was January or February or something.
No, it was like last year.
Oh, that was like October.
So it was, several months into the coronavirus, and I'm like, get me the hell out of this house. Like, I have to go somewhere. So I stalked you, and I'm like, Austin, hi, I'm Jen. I met you at another mastermind at some point, and I've been following you. And how do I go to this mastermind? Will you take an old person like me? And am I cool enough to go to your mastermind? And you're like, of course, come on. And so, that was such a great experience. And I've been to several masterminds. And what I loved about yours is you went around the room and each person talked about themselves and something that maybe they're working on, what their forte is. And like when you first started this, I was like, oh shit, I got to listen to all these people. There's like 40 people in the room. But I'm telling you, by like the third person, I'm like, oh my God, I got to make sure I ask them this. I got to remember to go up and ask them. And it was just such a way to connect with people. And you don't get that a lot in these masterminds. A lot of times you'll go, maybe it's like a boot camp or something, and you're just in, hours sitting in front of a speaker, and, you're getting a hand cramp from writing all this stuff. But this was just such a great way to make connections. And that's really what a great mastermind is about. But I got to ask you, because everyone in the room was from Columbus, Ohio, except for Jen and Vance Josie. Actually, I forgot his name. The one who flips like 100 doors at a time. I forgot his name. I think he was from Nashville.
Oh, Tyler King.
Yes. TK. So you run, or you teach people how to wholesale. So a lot of them were wholesalers, and they worked from you. So how do you teach them again, you're 28 years old and you had all these people in a foreign country that you taught how to wholesale. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, we teach people the real estate business from a lot of different angles. I've helped coach hundreds of people, get their first deal. We have something as simple as like an online course where you can take, hours and documents and spreadsheets where you can get started there. To the vacation mastermind, which is what you just talked about, where people will fly in, to a foreign location. And we'll just network and mastermind and talk business. I've been to the masterminds where you sit in the classroom for 8, 10, 12 hours a day and learn the nitty gritty how-to step by steps. And there's absolutely a time and a place for that. But when I've gone to those things where I've always seen a lot of the value is in the evenings, when you go out and you get drinks and you get dinner and you actually connect with the people that are there and learn directly from one another. So that's kind of what this is more structured around. There is a little bit of education, but most of it is around just being able to put a group of high level people in a room together and learn exactly how other people are running their businesses. So it's been a blessing. I've been able to meet and network and connect with a lot of people, a lot of people from social media. We're shooting this first week of June. So next week, we got 40 people flying in from all over the country to Los Cabos to do another one of these things. And it's just amazing how you can connect with people online, but then you meet them in person and you just learn so much more and more ways of implementation and growth at the end of the day, more ways to make money.
Just networking with your people, I'm calling them your people because they're all Columbus people. I've had several of them on the show, and I've just learned a ton from them. You've got a lot of talent up there. So, sorry, I really want to find out how you went from your first deal making $100,000 to you've done hundreds of transactions since then and got to $1 million. Like, what did you do to get there?
For sure. I mean, it's been a process of a lot of things. One, hiring other, so leverage, right? People always know leveraging other people's money. You know, everybody kind of gets that concept, but it's leveraging other people's time as well. So each individual has a cap to their income. You know, my cap may be 100K a year, your cap may be 200K a year, but each individual has a cap to their income. And the only way to grow past that income is to leverage other people's times, which either means systems or actual people that work for you. And when you do that, you grow a team, and then you can make more money all the way around. So one of the lessons was hiring people, you know, putting the right people in the right seats. And the next one is marketing, because at the end of the day, we don't run a real estate operation. We run a marketing business, because without marketing, without leads, we don't make any money. So scaling marketing as well to have more leads to then make more money. So that's kind of like the growth. It's always a balance between the two. You scale out marketing, then you need more people, and then, you know, marketing doesn't stops working. Now you got too many people. So it's always a balancing act, but it's people, systems, and marketing is how you're able to scale businesses.
And you teach people how to do this, correct?
Absolutely, for sure, 100%.
So, I mean, I got to sign up for this because it's just Vance and I, well, we do have one VA that does all of our online marketing, but we need to start scaling. So how does someone get involved in this course? Is it online or is it in person?
Yeah, absolutely. So the online course, which covers marketing, like who to market to, how to market to them, sales and negotiation and evaluating deals, wholesaling, raising private money, flipping houses, managing contractors, and buying rental properties, which, by the way, is almost everything inside of real estate. You can find that at thereblueprint.com. We call it the real estate blueprint. So thereblueprint.com. You know, people can get that there, and you get all the videos, you get all the documents, all the spreadsheets, everything in between. And if, you know, someone wants more hands-on, like the Vacation Mastermind, people can just message me on Instagram, which is Austin Rutherford Official on Instagram.
Yeah, where's the next one? I know you're doing one in Cabo next week, but this is airing later. But when's the next one going to be?
Yeah, so we're shooting for sometime in like September-ish or October-ish. We're still finalizing the exact date and exact location, but September, October will definitely be the last one for this year. But, you know, we'll be rolling on into 2022 as well.
And in addition to those masterminds, do you do in-person trainings? Because I vaguely remember one of my best friends, Brett Beeman. I think did he come shadow you? Okay, tell me about that.
Yep. So we do 2-day in-person masterminds as well, where people are able to fly into the office and watch everything behind the scenes, you know, talk to the team, literally everything, to learn how to implement and then be able to grow your business from there as well. It's kind of like the course just on steroids.
I love it. I am just so impressed with you. 28-year-old. My goodness. By the way, we're both Geminis. I just had my 48th birthday. Holy shit.
Happy belated.
Oh my goodness. So earlier, I did a badassery bestowment. Do you have something that you can share with my audience members?
For sure. Something that I learned like really, really early on. It actually came from basketball. Playing basketball is kind of how I learned.
I'm a power forward.
Hey, I'm a point guard.
What?
That's what it is.
It was always foul number 44.
Hey, you got 5 of them. Use them. Yeah, it was something that I learned. Like, my dream was to go to the NBA. That's how I started. And one of my coaches at the time said, like, don't forget, but when you're not working, somebody else is. Somebody's working to take your spot. So I realized the value that time actually carries. And if you really, really want to break it down, if you have a number that you want to make in a year, so like, let's say you want to make $1 million a year, you take $1 million and divide it by 2,080 hours, which is 52 weeks, 40 hours a week. That means your time would be worth $481 an hour. So that kind of goes back to leveraging other people's time. You know, you shouldn't be going through the mail and paying the bills and all these things if you're trying to scale a business. You know, people are focused on the granular, expecting grand results. You can't do that. You got to have people that focus on the BS that has to happen so you can go out there and focus on actually making real money. So just be very, very conscious of your time, who you spend it with, because that everyone's got the same 24 hours. Some people just use it way better than other people.
That is great advice. Thank you for sharing that. And you're wearing your Elevate shirt, which is the name of your mastermind. Do you remember the Elevate shirt that I wore to your mastermind? Do you remember what I wrote on it?
It was Elevate. Oh,
I made one for Vance that said Elevate my blood alcohol level.
That's what it was.
But then I had one that said Elevate my metabolism.
I love it. So it was funny because like we made gray shirts that day. And you came with a gray shirt. And I was like, how'd you get the shirt? And then I read it. I was like, oh, that's actually hilarious.
I had a really good time making those. So, all right, the second half of the podcast, I like to share what makes you a badass. And I use the acronym BADASS. So the first letter is B, and it's book. What is a book that made a huge difference in your life?
Think and Grow Rich. Right when I was 19 years old, it changed the outcome of my life, 100%.
Napoleon Hill, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Love that. And I also read in one of your articles, because you were in some finance magazine or something, and How Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that was another one for you. And everyone says that, so I'm so glad you brought up Napoleon Hill.
For sure.
Excellent. All right, the first A in badass is advice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Really just get started, right? You know, most people want to know everything before they even get started, and they never even use 1% of what they learn because they never implement. You know, I'm a big believer. People say like ready, aim, fire. I'm a big believer in fire, ready, aim. So make the commitment and start, and then figure the rest out on the way. Like when we were moving to Florida, like, you know, I have businesses, I have employees, I have money. Like we had a lot of things that were going on. No idea how we were going to make the move, but we made the commitment and then we figured it out. So fire, ready, aim.
I love that. I was one of those people who felt like I suffered from imposter syndrome. So I wanted to learn everything first. So it took us about 6 months before we actually jumped in and did things. And I'm actually coaching now for Tarek El Moussa. Yeah. And he, you know, we kind of push like learn as you go. And it's made a huge difference. So I love that. I'm so glad you said that. All right. The D in badass is drive. What drives you to be successful?
Yeah. So when I started, honestly, like it was just money. You know, I just wanted to make money. I wanted to have the nice things.
Thanks for being honest. That's people are like my family, my kids. I'm like, money. Excellent.
Straight up. That was it. But once you start making money and, you know, you go on the yacht and you buy the Rolex, you know, that only goes, you can only do that so many times before the feeling kind of gets old. So, you know, over the last few years, you know, as I've made more money, it's turned more to, you know, helping and giving back to people, which include my family. You know, I wouldn't be in the position I am today without them. So, you know, I want to buy them a house. I want to buy them a boat. I want to give them the vacations that they've never had. But the coolest thing that I get hundreds and hundreds of messages a day on Instagram. And the best messages that I get are like, yo, bro, I just bought my first house thanks to you. Yo, bro, I just retired my family. Yo, man, I just walked out and quit my full-time job because I was able to make $50K wholesaling houses. Like, I got goosebumps just talking about that. Like, that's the most rewarding thing in the world right now. So just giving back and helping other people. I'm a big believer the more you give, whatever is in the universe, they know it, and you'll get more back in return.
So true. And I actually had a very long conversation with your dad one time. We were in Jamaica, and I may have had a couple of drinks in me, but I just, he was so sweet. And I was just, you know, just talking his ear off. So you do have a super wonderful family.
Amazing family.
Yes. The second A in badass is aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So what is a goal you are currently working on? And it's to learn everything about Broward County, but go ahead.
So kind of like the goal is $10 million a year net with being passive. That's the big catch to that.
Wow.
So still working to that. But something that kind of came up in the last week or two since I moved down here is the video is not being recorded, but like right there, you probably know where it's at, but it's on Las Olas. It's the houses.
Las Olas.
It's the houses to the left that are on the water.
Yep.
You know, I drove down those streets the other day, like a week ago, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is where I got to be. And they're like $5 to $7 million houses. And, that just became the new near-term goal.
I love that. That's a great area. I'm telling you. Just watch out for hurricanes.
For sure.
Get your shutters. All right. The first S in badass is systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
100%. So a lot of them are like our online systems. So I'm going to give you business systems and then life systems. So like business systems, we have CRMs, contact relation management software. I think is what it's where all your
customer relation management.
Yeah, exactly. So we have CRMs. We have it's called Zapier. It like pushes information between different apps. So kind of like interwebs everything. So that's been huge. And then just like written out systems. Well, we don't really write them out. We do videos. So like our trainings are screen recordings. So we have a whole portfolio of like screen recordings. So if anybody has questions, the system is like literally already screen recorded, so you can't screw it up. So that's kind of like some of the business systems that have been great. As far as life systems, like a morning routine has always been big, doing the working out, the eating healthy, the manifesting, the affirmations, the reading books, the journaling, which is massive. Those have changed my life and continue to change my life. So like the morning system, quote unquote, morning routine has been a game changer.
Have you read any Hal Elrod?
I'm not really with authors.
Okay, he did Miracle Morning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, because you just said like all the things that he does. So that's why I was like, oh, he's a Hal Elrod fan. Yeah, that book was a game changer. And it's so funny you brought up Zapier because someone taught me Zapier for like 30 seconds one time, and I still have no clue, but I get emails all the time saying, oh, another Zapier something has happened. And I'm like, I have no idea what it's doing, but I'm not paying for anything, am I? I hope not.
It's saving you time. That's what it's doing.
It's saving me time from something I don't even know what I set up. All right. So the last S in badass is success. What does success mean to you?
That is a phenomenal question. So this has been huge to me. When people start in business, like they have these whys and goals and everything, right? And then they start making money and they get tied up and they have to work, and they forget to go back to their whys of why they started. Their why is their definition of success. If they say I'm doing it for my kids and my family, that's what success looks like to them. If they're saying I'm doing it to get rich, that's what success looks like to them. So everybody has a different version of success, but very, very few people actually go back to their definition of success. So this has been a huge change in my life over the last like 6 to 9 months, is actually doing what success looks like to me. And success looks like to me is living on the ocean, is having time freedom to do what I want to do. I just got back from playing golf today with a couple mentors of mine that hit me up at midnight last night. So boom, now I'm gone. I'm playing golf for 4 or 5 hours today. So having freedom to do what you want and not be tied to a job. Like I always thought I had to be in the office. I had to be pushing the team. I had to do these things because I was the one that had to do it. But I came to the realization, like if you have a computer like we're on and you have a cell phone in today's world, you can make, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars by doing that. So definition of my success is freedom, living where I want to live, and eventually flying my parents out, buying them a house, and spending time with the family.
I love that. You are so awesome. Thank you, Austin. So how do people find you online?
Yeah, so the one I communicate the most on is Instagram. So it's Austin Rutherford Official on Instagram. I got a YouTube channel. We got over 20,000 subscribers on there. It's Austin Rutherford on YouTube. And TikTok. We got over 500,000 people on TikTok, which is Austin Rutherford on TikTok as well.
All the three that the old people like myself are not on. I do Facebook. That's about it. Oh, and LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm like, yawn. So I thank you. I am so appreciative that you included me in your mastermind out in Dominican Republic. It was such a great time, and you're an inspiration to this old lady, and I can't thank you enough. So enjoy my old stomping grounds in Broward County in South Florida, and learn those words. I'm telling you, intracoastal, Las Olas, Excellent. Yes. All right. So thank you. That is all. Thanks for listening. We will catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.